Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Ultra Posty Thoughts in My Head podcast. I am your host, Adam Lee. Thank you once again for joining me. I appreciate your time so much. There are a ton of podcasts out there, and the fact that you spend a little bit of time listening to mine means the world to me. So thank you so much. And today's episode is a good one. I've got Erick Thompson on. He is the documentary maker. He documented himself running his first ever 50 miler, made a beautiful video about it. It's a great watch. He told me all about how he made that and what challenges he faced. I'm super excited to share that with you. Before we get that, a couple of quick housekeeping items. Sunday, March 27th, I told you all before, but just as a reminder, I am hosting the UK Run Chat. That's 1 p.m. local here in BC. That's 8 p.m. in the UK. I'm really excited to get on Twitter and yammer about with all of you. That will be fun. And then the Wednesday after that, Wednesday, March 30th, 29 trail runners told me what trail running means to them. And I've turned those stories into one story about what trail running means to all of us. I can't wait to publish and share that with you. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It was so much fun for me to read and write. But today is about Erick Thompson, and it's about his documentary 50.
Rainy, muddy, slippery, foggy, pretty tough to see. So now we're going down the other side of Manson's Ridge. Visibility is poor, to say the least.
That was today's guest, Erick Thompson, from his documentary 50.
I have a friend who's a long distance runner, and someone said, why do you run? And he showed a picture of himself when he used to be unhealthy, and he said, I'm running from that guy. And I thought that was pretty funny. I'm not running from anything. I'm running to something. I'm trying to keep healthy so that as I get older and as I age, I have a body that can carry me where I need to go. That's what it's all about.
Erick is the creator of 50, a trail running documentary about his first ultra marathon, a 50 miler completed on the historic HBC Heritage Trail. I know Erick from our days working in live television together many years ago on Vancouver Island. It's great that we get to reconnect all these years later in the trail running community. Erick, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here, especially because I was listening to your podcast during a training run yesterday. So now I feel like I've put myself inside of do we call it a radio? I guess we call it an iPod.
That's right. Yeah. Wherever we are, you're in it. So yeah, that's good.
Kind of neat.
I appreciate you taking the time to listen. That's fantastic. I'm super excited to talk to you today. I think we've all sort of made a video of some type when we're out there running, but none of us make something where we produce it quite like you did. And you've done this 50-mile run where you produced a really well done video too, which was really cool. Before we chat about that though, tell us about the HBC Heritage Trail. Why did you pick that? What does it mean to you?
Well, my history with the HBC Trail goes back to 2015. The Okanagan-Similkameen Park Society, which is a really important group in this region, they raise money to protect certain areas and to provide money to also do upkeep and trail maintenance and that kind of thing. One of the meetings I went to, they talked about this HBC Trail, and I thought that sounds great, but it's really long. It's a preserved section that's 74 kilometers. So I thought, I don't think I'm going to be able to go and do the whole trail. So I'll start with sections. So I went and did a section with my mother-in-law and my wife, and it was fantastic. And then my wife and I went and hiked it. And then I thought I'm going to make a short documentary and hike it again. So I did that with camera gear. It was a lot of work and very, very difficult. And then there's a trail run on it, the HBC Brigade Trail Run. And, I was doing 21K trail runs here and there, just a couple of them. And I thought, I'm going to try this 30K. It was at that time, this was 2018, way out of my comfort zone. And I did not train properly because I didn't really know how to train. And I thought I'll just run a bit. And I didn't fuel properly. Gotcha. And that was, I don't know if you've ever had stomach problems while you're running, it was just more like pain, because I was just like, I'll just take chews and powder and I'll whatever I can find.
No plan.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. But I finished the 30K, and I did okay. I wasn't last. And after that, I thought I want to make another documentary, and I want to make it about this trail. So now I'm really going to get this 30K down right. And my wife said, 30K, you sure you want to do the 30K? Because it was a 30K and a 50 miles. I said, so to do this film, I have to run the 50 miler. And she said, yeah, you probably should. It was, again, way out of my comfort zone. I said, I'm going to do it. You're right. If I'm going to make a film about trail running, it's got to be go all in. So I did. I trained for it. And that's a whole other story, but it worked out. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's kind of fun too because you sort of got to grow while you learned and experienced this trail that you kind of grew with it, and the video kind of sounds like came together naturally.
Yeah. And I have a weird example, and would never compare myself to the impressionist artist Claude Monet, but because I dabble at painting a little bit. But he would paint the same subject over and over and over again, different seasons and that kind of thing, like the poplars. And I felt like this is my little art project where I'm just going to keep doing stuff on this trail because I love this trail. It's a really interesting trail. It goes through different, you're going from the Okanagan climate in outside of Princeton, in near Tulameen, to the coast outside of Hope. So you're going through different zones. It's really, really interesting. And it's just beautiful. There's some great spots on it.
You get to pack a lot of different scenery in there. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You go from choosing this, you know that you have access to yourself. So that's probably a great place to start, is sort of as being able to feature yourself. You know, you can document the whole journey. You had some crew help, but how does that work from deciding I'm going to do this and then producing and showing a video to all of us on YouTube? What goes on in between there?
It's interesting. Well, first thing I started doing was once I determined I was going to do this run, and this for me was a really interesting process. I now have to say to myself, okay, I have to find a way to train for a 50 miler, which is way out of my comfort zone. And a long time ago, I had said, I don't want to do any kind of long running. I thought I would just focus on shorter runs because I always thought long running is hard on your legs and stuff. And then as you know, you get the bug. And
Yep,
then whatever you thought before was wrong. Now this is right.
exactly. Yeah.
Long is great. Trails are great. So I had to start training, and I found a number of ways to do that. And then I had to start producing this film. And that really is my background, is film and television. So combining the two was really neat because the film, knowing I was going to make the film, really motivated me to run and train properly. Because you've trained for something and maybe it doesn't work out. I'll try next time. But in this case, I was bringing together people who were going to be recording this and putting their time in. So I had to do it right. So the two really interacted well. And finding the crew was easy because they were friends. And I got a bit of a budget. So I was able to give each of them an honorarium. And then on the day, I was able to just step back, do the run. I had someone to run with who was a pro, which was great, Matt Fortuna. And then the guys who were shooting it were also pros, and they just took over and they did it. We had drone operators and camera operators. Wells Gates from CTV, Vancouver Island, came and joined us. And I mean, when he came, I thought, that's it. We've got the full meal deal now.
We're rolling here.
Professional news guy. We've got a professional film guy. We got professional drone people. Like one of the guys is from Hummingbird Drones, and they have the contract to do wildfires almost across the country now. And they are advancing the technology of drones. So we had the dream team, and in the end, it was like that was like summer camp. I was thanking these guys profusely, saying, "I can't believe you guys all came together." And it was like an 18 or 20-hour day. And they said, no, it was actually really fun. It was like camaraderie, and it was like summer camp.
That's fantastic. It's a day on the trails always sort of brings you together in a unique way. And then when you have a project to bring you even closer, that's really cool that you got to share that with everyone. And it sounds like they were all buying in. That's really fun.
Well, even the music, I through a friend connected with a guy named Jeremy Breaks, who plays in the touring band with Dallas Smith, the country artist who used to be in Default.
Okay,
So
very
Jeremy's
cool.
this super talented guy who's getting more and more into scoring for films and television. And he was gung ho, same thing, gave him the same honorarium I gave the other guys. And he just owned it. It was amazing. And it's the kind of thing where when I run, I listen to a lot of podcasts about filmmaking. And one of the things they say is if you have friends who can do some of this stuff, it can save you a lot of money. Because if you have to pay someone to do the music for you, you could be talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So
Absolutely.
we had a really good team.
A score makes all the difference too. Like
Yeah.
it's a beautiful documentary that you've made. It's really fun to watch. I know
Thanks.
we were talking very quickly off recording there, and you highlighted the question, what was the most challenging? So why don't you tell us about that?
Okay, well, anyone who's listening, or watching, because I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel, if you look at the elevation relief of the HBC Trail, there's a lot of elevation gain. You go up and you go down a fair amount. And that's what makes this a really challenging run. Toward the end of this run, now a lot of people will start at just outside of Hope at Pierce Creek, and they will head east toward Tulameen. In this particular case, we started at Tulameen and went west. And that's because that's the way that HBC Brigade run, trail run goes. And by the way, it was on hiatus, and it's been on hiatus since then because of other reasons, specifically COVID as well. Anyway, so on the way out, when you're heading toward Hope, you're basically toward the end of your run and you're tired. You started at whatever we did, 5:22 in the morning. And now it's dark and it's raining and it's foggy and visibility is poor. And you have to climb 2K up Manson's Ridge. And it's really hard to describe how sketchy that hill is in the daytime. Going up at night. And every other time I had done this trail, I was mostly going the opposite direction. But anyway, so that was incredibly sketchy because it's really hard to see. Then you get to the top and now you've got to descend, equally sketchy. And when I say sketchy, I said in one of the things I did a short version of that film for a festival. And I said that if I got that wrong, I would probably be either badly injured or die. And I thought, was that too dramatic? No, because if you smash your head on a rock, you can die.
You can die.
And so Matt Fortuna, who, for people who don't know, he's the guy who came running with me. He finished third in 2017 in the Fat Dog 120. He did it in 29 hours.
Super
120 miles in the mountains. Third. Unbelievable. So by the end of this run, he's not going at full capacity. He's going at my speed, filmmaking speed, inexperienced guy speed. But when we're dropping down Manson's Ridge, he's ready to go. He's the horse who's ready to get back to the stable.
Yeah.
So he's picking up his pace a bit, but we've both got our headlamps on. And if we're closer together, it's a lot easier to see. So he was starting to pull away from me. And I was just, at one point I just felt like, I feel like I'm being a bit bitchy. Because I was like, hey, Matt, can you just hold on a sec? So I just had to do my best to not fall and not bail. And he was really nice about waiting for me. He also had the bear spray with him because I gave it to him at some point. And so when we got to the flat, it's still another 6 kilometers out. And he was way ahead of me. And at one point I just said, hey, can you just either give me the bear spray or stay close to me? Because I was starting to get a bit paranoid because there are many pockets where you will find bears in that area. So again, other than those little trip ups, I think I kept a pretty good attitude.
Yeah, fantastic. It definitely shines through in the video. I think we could talk much longer about everything. The time has zoomed by. I want to give you a chance to tell us more about where people can see your video and where else they can follow you. How do we keep in touch with Erick Thompson?
Well, the YouTube channel is probably the best place. It's ET2, ET the number 2 media. And ET2 because my name is Erick Thompson. My wife's name is Erin Trainer. So when we started our company many years ago, we came up with ET2 media. We thought it would just be make a lot of sense, but in hindsight, we're like, that's a little more complicated than we thought because people are like, E2 media?
Of course,
ET2
right?
media. And I'm also on Twitter under ET2 media. So those are the 2 key places I use. I don't use Instagram as much. I just kept it more from family. So it's a private account. And I don't have any time because of all these projects I'm working on. So I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but I'm feeding the YouTube channel now though.
Excellent. We'll make sure we'll have it linked to and all that good stuff. We'll certainly send everyone over there that we can. A huge thank you to Erick for being my guest today. Of course, I thank everyone for listening. And until next time, I'm Adam Lee, and this has been Ultra Posty Thoughts in My Head.